Eloise, great to have you here on L&D TV as our guest speaker. We've just had a fantastic breakfast at Koei Cafe, which is just lovely, so thank you for that. And we were talking about some of the emerging roles and changes that are happening to the L&D role here in New Zealand, and you've got some pretty good insights on that. So do you want to share some of those with us?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's great having coffee with you as always, Rustika. Love connecting with you as much as I can. So look, as you know, I've been in L&D for a number of years, and what I've noticed in the last couple of years in particular is there's been a real convergence of roles starting to really cross over. What was typically the role of a L&D consultant and or an instructional designer as separate roles are now starting to merge. Another area that's really starting to become again merging is L&D and OD. And I'm starting to see that as I continue to contract around the Auckland City with different organisations, that L&D and OD are merging much more than they ever have before. So what we're seeing is we're seeing role titles now of learning and OD consultants, and that's what I've noticed in the last little while.
Yeah, and you were mentioning a role that you had been looking at. It was a training manager, and it had a list of, what was that list? It was just a massive list of these different skills.
I know, it was incredible. So I actually was looking at a role, it was called L&D manager. Now this role in particular, I actually got the detail of it, and the scope of it and the real responsibilities were being able to design e-learning, do storyline design, facilitate, talk with stakeholders, scope projects, become a project manager. Oh, and by the way, make sure that you have all the numbers and the details set. Coordinate the facility, the training, registration, so forth. So there's a massive sort of demand on this role now that has never been there before. And as companies start to really consolidate more and start to retrench, if you like, in those roles, because they're merging, those roles continue to merge, people are expected to sort of have all of those skills in their toolkit, which is quite amazing.
It is too, and when you look at it from a talent dynamics point of view, that's asking a lot of one person. Some people are creative, some people are on the people side, some people are on the customer service side,
yes,
some are on the detail side, and it's almost unrealistic to expect for someone to be in flow to have someone having all of those things to be doing, isn't it?
Exactly. So what that does is it to a degree it really minimises opportunities for people, because of their strengths in one area, and yet they're expected to actually be playing in other areas that really are not their strengths. So it can cause confusion and frustration for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, there's a lot of people that might be having a maternity leave break, that if you had 3 or 4 people could be doing the one role, all in flow doing what they love, like someone doing the people stakeholder stuff, and someone else doing the creative side of things, someone doing the detail side, that actually 3 or 4 people could actually come and do one role, and actually, gosh, I reckon they'd be so much more productive, wouldn't it? I
think outputs would be better, definitely, and I think productivity would be much higher, which also obviously falls into engagement. So if you've got someone who's really doing what they love and they're in flow with that, then you've got incredibly high levels of engagement in the organisation, rather than someone struggling across a number of different roles trying to produce the outputs.
That's right. And then you've also got the issue of then it's about there's breadth but not depth.
Yes,
so
exactly.
You're not getting specialists in that role.
Yeah, exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with companies, because I think probably particularly bigger companies are not going to go for that model where there's actually 3 or 4 because they just need to manage one. But really it will be interesting to see the changing L&D space and the roles that actually do happen over the next 12, 24 months.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Companies are definitely starting to centralise more. We've got that global impact on those roles. If you've got a global organisation, then you might find that L&D becomes a central function in one country, and then that gets sort of, if you like, cascaded out to other areas in the world or other countries in the world. and therefore the functions aren't required, the number of people aren't required.
That's right.
As there used to be. So it's a definite changing environment, and it's actually, it will be interesting to see what happens in the next 12 to 24 months.
Yes. And what do you think, I guess finally, what do you think people can do to actually make sure that when they look, you know, when the skills required are so broad now, what do you think people can do to actually, I don't know, what are they going to do to upskill themselves?
I think it's really important to continue to keep abreast of and up front on the edge of trends.
Yeah.
Definitely getting involved in, you know, events like Bloom hold, for example, e-learning events. NZATD conferences, going there, going offshore, getting involved in webinars and hearing what's happening as far as trends are concerned, and they're happening regularly. So there's no reason why people can't be abreast of what's actually happening in the market right now and continue to keep building their skill set and their knowledge.
That's
definitely.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons we're putting eLearn's eLab on, because that allows people to come and learn 6 different tools: storyline, video animation, video editing, with some international speakers. That's happening in July. And as we were talking about, we're creating this personalised learning network, which allows people to come and, you know, learn and connect and really just find out, as you say, what's happening with the trends.
Yeah,
so,
which is great.
It is.
Yeah,
so,
and I think there's another element there that, you know, beyond the e-learning area, and I think bringing, how does that impact OD? How does that impact recruitment? You know, all those elements that connect, because they all connect now as a whole piece rather than independent or individual areas. That's happening more. There's more of a merging of those functions, and I think that's really important to think about as well.
Have you found, because I know I found it when I was contracting, there seems to be this mystery about what OD is. Do you find that? Like, what do they do?
Yeah, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. Yeah.
Mystified. So actually, you've given me an idea. Maybe we'll get an OD person to come and talk to our network.
I think so. I think that would be a great value for L&D, you know, people as a community.
Maybe L&D TV next month. We'll get an OD person.
Fantastic.
And they can say what's happening in the merging of L&D with
Exactly.
OD.
I think that would be awesome.
Fabulous. Well, it's almost lunchtime. Our breakfast lunch meeting turned into almost lunch. So thanks, and thank you for sharing with us for our viewers. And look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.